Hey guys, it's Parzival. I also go by Will, and I am back with another sketchbook tour. Now, this is probably the most recent sketchbook I finished. I know that I have another sketchbook coming up that was for about the last 2 months, give or take, but that's going to be after this one, because I need to do some stuff with that sketchbook first. But this one is June to July 2018, and it basically wasn't quite a month, but this was a bigger sketchbook than I usually make, and I used it primarily for ArtFight. And ArtFight is this online site that I will link down below. Specifically, I will link my ArtFight profile down below, where it's basically a giant art trade. So a bunch of artists are on the site, they get divided into 1 or 2 teams, and they draw each other's OCs to win points for their teams. And it's really, really fun. It's one of the best events that I always look forward to every year. This is my 2nd year in ArtFight, and I'm Team Coffee. Woo! And the opposing team this year is Team T, and I love it just because I get to find so many new artists to follow and so many new cool OCs, and I've met friends in ArtFight that we just keep going back and forth on, drawings that we make and drawing each other's OCs, and we just have a lot of fun with it. So I knew this year that I was going to be going in pretty strong, and so I decided originally this was going to be a Pride Month sketchbook, but it didn't end up being a Pride Month sketchbook, so I turned it into an ArtFight sketchbook. This sticker, by the way, is by Johanna the Mad, and I stuck it on here because I thought it would be cool. And then these are from when I went to the Portland Pride Festival, and that is when I started the sketchbook. I just brought it with me because it has the most rainbow of pages that I had at the time. It didn't have specifically a rainbow theme, but it had the most diverse colors in it. And it is 24 sheets and 48 pages, which is about twice the size of the sketchbook sizes I usually make. And it has white, purple, green, and pink cardstock. So I started with this page where I was developing a new OC, and I can't really talk about her very much, but she's basically someone from my D&D character's past. Specifically, she is from Lamb's past. Then I have this Dullahan character. Her name is Camden. The merchant character, because she is a merchant, her name is Alia. And I did a Copic drawing of her because I figured I could draw her in color at least once. And I have some hands and arm studies, some torsos, a comic of Lamb being a dork to his husband. And this is where the ArtFight stuff started. So you can see here that, I did this on June 20th, and I started this on June 17th. And then I didn't really do anything in it until, July. So that's almost 10 days. Technically I started this July 3rd, so 13 days, 14 days, almost 2 weeks. So I knew that I was going to be actually going somewhere. I was going on vacation. So I just took this and a few sketching supplies with me so that I could draw on the go, since I didn't want to bring any of my electronics with me. And that's why this started as an ArtFight sketchbook, because I wanted some place to just keep all the stuff. So, as a reminder, most of the OCs from this point onward don't belong to me. They belong to other people. And as I'm linking my ArtFight profile below and all the stuff is listed there, I'm just going to give the blanket warning that these characters are not mine, because there's a lot of people's characters here that I only know off the top of my head because I'm close to them, and everyone else's characters I'm not sure about because I did a lot of different art for a lot of new people that I don't know. And then I did a bunch of post-it doodles. And I like post-it doodles because I like that it's already pre-toned with a color, and it helps me work in a smaller space. And I think it's just fun to try out different things on post-it doodles because it feels less intimidating than trying to do a full body on a new piece of paper. But I did a lot of stuff that I don't normally do because I had limited materials at the time. So this one I distinctly remember using highlighter for some of the mid-tone shading. This one I remember I drew him in this pose so that he would fit in this space. I also was having to deal with the fact that a lot of my art supplies were not compatible with each other. They were either alcohol or water-based or not water-resistant, so they would bleed with each other, and you can kind of see that in some of these pieces, but I tried to cover it up as best I could. That's also why I ended up doing a lot of lineless art, as you can see here. So this is lineless. This one is not lineless, but you can kind of see in certain places, like around here, that some of the stuff tended to bleed. I don't know if there's a good example of it here. I think with this character's like eyes, you can see like the highlighter was picking up some darker tones here and there. So I tried to do fewer line stuff, since just my lining pen was not compatible with the other stuff. I think this one, you can see a little bit of the bleed here, though it's mostly just picking up shadows from the other color that I used to cover it. Got really good at trying to cover up my mistakes on this, to be honest. Here's some more lineless art. Yeah, basically I started trying to do some lineless stuff so that I wouldn't have to ink it, or I could ink it after I did the shapes, because I got kind of sick of everything bleeding. Here's a person's gemstone. I believe this is a Podparacha. And again, what do I say again? So I want to do some more feral art this year, because I'm not very good at animals, and I'm using Art Fight as an excuse to try and draw more, even though I am still mostly drawing humans. But I'm trying some more, like, Neko Mimi type characters, as you can see here. I'm trying some more, like, actual animals. Here's another lineless piece. And I also use Art Fight a lot to try out different styles, because I like trying new things without having to feel like it's something that I have to make look good necessarily. Because if I'm drawing other people's OCs that I'm unfamiliar with, I might as well try some new stuff while I'm at it and try and learn something. So here's a snake, and another Ada from Prison of Leaf. This one is one I'm really proud of. This is I was trying out a thin liner. It's a very thin, like Japanese pen that I don't know how to pronounce. I think this one was I think this was the Morning Glory 0.38 or something like that. And I don't really know anything about it, but it's got this really, really thin, fine point tip, and it's an ink barrel pen. So the ink, it's not like a ballpoint, and so I wanted to use this one to try and do more detailed line work and try and do something a little bit thinner, because I don't usually use thin lines anymore. And this character was super creepy, so I want to really capture it in the face, and I really, really like how this one turned out. I also tried another style thing here. I do a Shinx and some more post-it doodles. I like the post-it doodles for Art Fight because I also got to try some chibi stuff, which is another thing that I don't really do very often. So I wanted to make sure I tried different chibi styles. And a lot of this is just me experimenting with stuff. So it's not like necessarily the best of all of my artwork, but it's something that I feel is worth trying more often, and it got me out of my comfort zone, which was good because it meant that I was learning stuff. This one is cute. This person's character had a King Hoppip. And this one was difficult because I was trying to figure out how to draw a bear, and I think it kind of looks more like a mouse, but I tried because the character's supposed to be a bear. I'm still working on it. And this is where I was getting more of like tired because I was back at work by this point. So I was mostly doing half bodies just to fill the page. And just so I could have something to line when I got home. More half bodies. I guess technically more half bodies, but these are also just like me having fun. And this is also when I got back into doing digital art for Art Fight as well, so there is a little bit of a gap between days on the sketchbook, so it's about a week. But this is my character Camden again with another character, and I drew these two together because she doesn't have any actual arms, and neither does Camden, and they have a similar dress style, so I thought they'd be cute together. Neither of them have eyes. And I love this character's dress as well. I really like this type of dress, if you haven't noticed. It's very cute, and I think it's very fun to draw. More testing out different line weights. This one I wanted to try some shapes for the highlights of the hair. I don't really know how it turned out, but I think it was a fun experiment. More practicing detailed line work. This one was a, what do you call it, a Meowstick anthropomorphic character. And I don't know how to draw a Meowstick, but I had to try. More snake. More lineless stuff because I didn't have all the materials I needed at the time. This one was supposed to be a deer, and I was also trying a brush pen technique that I hadn't tried with my watercolor brush pens yet, where you like take the side of it and kind of lay it on a diagonal and jiggle it to make the flower petals. And it kind of worked out, kind of didn't. I'm not really sure how I feel about it yet, but I think it looks nice. It kind of reminds me of stained glass. And the last one is some more stuff that I was trying with just drawing a character with brush pen and trying to vary like line weight but also put some more detail on it. And this is kind of when I realized that my brush pen at the time was running out. You can see here that like I was running out of ink, so that was also like a frustrating thing for me, but it went fine. Another chibi. But yeah, I feel like I tried a lot of things in the sketchbook, and I actually really like doing the lineless style with traditional. I feel like it's pretty simple, but it's definitely something I would consider doing again in the future because I think it's really cute. But yeah, so this was my, basically my Art Fight sketchbook. Art Fight is still going on at the time I'm posting this. It ends August 8th, so if you want to get in on that, you can check that out and, you know, see what I do. I'm aiming for 200 attacks this year. That's total, cumulative, not like I'm trying to do 200 attacks, like, just this year. But I've been doing a lot of different arts for Art Fight and just using it as an excuse to try out new things because I think it's fun. So, as usual, if you guys have any questions or comments, you can put them down in the comment section below or contact me on any of my social media, which is in the description below. Or if you want to support me, I also have my Patreon linked both here at the end of the video, where for $1 a day you can get my daily sketch dumps. But, you know, that's mostly just a donation thing if you want to support me on a personal note. As always, guys, thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you next time. Bye!